In fact, we are getting in live pictures of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who's all set to touch down in Israel. And these are live pictures coming in from Israel, where the Prime Minister is on a state visit. And he will be holding bilaterals with Benjamin Netanyahu. Big defense cooperation is on the cards. FTA is on the cards. There's a lot on the cards and on agenda this time around for the Prime Minister's visit to Israel. And just in a few hours from now, the Prime Minister will also be addressing Knesset. That's something that the world will be watching very, very closely. But these are live pictures coming in from Israel. The Prime Minister is landing, and what follows after landing is diaspora outreach, diplomatic engagements, and the high-stakes address at Knesset. This is a historic visit, viewers, coming in at a time when there are several global headwinds, especially around Israel, in West Asia. There's a lot of volatile situations unfolding, and amidst all of this, the Prime Minister is in Israel. This is history unfolding at this very moment. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has just touched down. As you can see, that's the Prime Minister's plane, marking a defining chapter in India-Israel relations. And the aircraft has also landed. And in just a few moments from now, we have the Prime Minister stepping out of the aircraft. And to give us more details, we have Ambassador Mahesh Sachdev, former Indian diplomat, Nina Aslama, foreign policy expert, Richmond University, live from Israel. Manish Chand, CEO, Center for Global India Insights, live from Jerusalem. A very good afternoon to the esteemed panelists who are joining me live on this broadcast. Ambassador Mahesh Sachdev, this is a defining moment in India-Israel ties. Help us read between the lines, especially in context of the global headwinds in West Asia.
I think the visit is largely bilateral in nature, although the global headwinds that you mentioned do count significantly. This would be first time that Prime Minister has visited since 2017, a period of 9 years approximately, in which bilateral relations have grown further. The FTA is under negotiations, and counter-terrorism talks were held yesterday. First round of FTA negotiations was also held in New Delhi yesterday. So the visit has been some time in coming, and it has been well prepared for. I expect it to be dominated by bilateral economic and political synergy. The two leaders have clear bromance between them, and they have been in power since long. Mr. Netanyahu faces an election in 2026, later in the year, and would be keen to leverage his friendship with India to his domestic clientele and showcase his restoration to normalcy in international political discourse to his voters. He would also like to project strength. He has last week been talking about hexagon to counter Sunni and Shia networks in the region. Hexagon, if you recall, is the flag at the center of Israeli flag and is a sign of Judaism. I don't think India or Mr. Modi would co-opt into it. But at the same time, the bilateral ties have their own dynamic, their own narrative, and it'll continue that way. Prime Minister would be, I imagine, sticking to the traditional Indian line about two-state solution to Israel-Palestine crisis, and would be talking in terms of greater role that India can play to bring peace to the region. Thank you.
More of economics than geopolitics. Let me also bring in Nina Slama because she's live from Tel Aviv. Nina, from Israel's perspective, how important is the Prime Minister's visit?
So the visit is very important. It will enable both countries to extend their current strategic partnership in diverse domains, naming economy, security, defense, cyber, innovation, water management, agriculture, and so on. The main focus of this visit will be on upgrading existing security and defense agreements, allowing both countries to deal, cooperate, and put forward their national security, and of course to deal with sensitive issues that both countries have to address. Another issue will be AI, quantum, and technology in different areas. I am sure that both leaders, and because of their strong bond, will bring together both countries to enhance their current relations and to discuss about also infrastructure, connectivity, geopolitical developments in West Asia and in other parts of the world, and the fact that Prime Minister Modi will address for the first time in the Knesset, which is the Israeli parliament, is also an important milestone.
All eyes are on the India-Israel FTA. Which sectors will stand to gain? Is it defense or is it AI? Is it agri or is it semiconductors?
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Manish. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So when we are talking about FTA, the FTA talks have already begun, and already 1 year that there has been concrete progress. So this is about, across the spectrum economic partnership. So some of the areas you mentioned, of course, technology and innovation would be major focus. So AI, quantum, and all that. But more importantly, to scale up the trade volume, given the different markets, India and Israel, the symmetry and composition of the market. But also want to underline, this particular visit is a very important. It's a compelling assertion of India's strategic autonomy. Prime Minister Modi is undertaking this historic visit. This is his second visit. I was there also in Jerusalem in 2017, where Benjamin Netanyahu said very memorably, it's a marriage made in heaven that is being implemented on earth. And that implementation part over the last few years is going to be further fast-tracked during this visit. And it's going to encompass the entire spectrum, of course. Defense and security is the core of the India-Israel partnership. One also hears that, there has been some critique about the timing of the Prime Minister Modi's visit, that why is he going to Israel at a time when Israel is facing so much flack internationally, is getting diplomatically isolated and all that. I think this is precisely the point of the visit, that by going at this point, Prime Minister Modi is underlining India's strategic autonomy, underlining its commitment to a partnership that has stood the test of time. Israel stood by us during Operation Sindoor, and the only country probably which explicitly backed India. There were others. There were a lot of people, so-called strategic partners, were waffling and not coming out categorically. And Israel, is a very key partner in counter-terror cooperation. So this is a way of underlining solidarity with a partner country which has served India in many ways. So coming back to the the economic and other outcomes, what we are going to be seeing is going to be a blend of defense, security, enhance trade and investment. And that process will be facilitated by a set of agreements that are going to be signed tomorrow. Of course, the upgraded security partnership, the FTA will not be concluded, I think, but it will be reflected in the joint statement. And above all, this particular visit, and Prime Minister just touched down in Jerusalem, and he's going to have a tete-a-tete with Israeli Prime Minister in the car ride, and they will have, I think, at least half an hour of talk, setting the agenda for tomorrow's main course that is going to happen. And Israel is there is a lot of enthusiasm among. I'm here, so one can sense that among the strategic and diplomatic community about the way India-Israel partnership is unfolding and where it is heading. So there is a sense that that India's there is a synergy here. Israel's technology, Israel's defense prowess can blend with India's skills, India's human resource base, and India's growing achievements in AI. So this is a win-win partnership, which is going to be exemplified in a host of outcomes, which we are going to see after the talks tomorrow.
Ambassador Sachdev, Netanyahu has described his alliance with India as a tremendous alliance, but help us understand India-Israel alliance beyond just defense ties. Because defense is the first thing that pops into your head when you mention India and Israel ties. You have the Iron Dome and much more. So how has this partnership evolved beyond just defense ties?
It's a good question. I think we need to normalize the ties beyond defense. There've been considerable progress with regard to foreign the free trade area, foreign direct investment wise also. India and Israel have very competitive diamond industries and gem and jewelry sectors. They often complement each other. Israel and India do have a bit of asymmetry in terms of economies, but then there is also focus on innovation. Israel calls itself an innovation country, and India is the third largest startup country in the world with nearly 100 unicorns. So there's plenty of scope in terms of high-tech collaboration. I think agriculture is another area where climate change has ravaged sections of Indian agriculture. And that is where Israeli frugal water utilization technology can be useful. Horticulture-wise, also, Israel has made Negev desert bloom, and that is something of interest to us as well. Desalination of water is another area. Helping third countries in areas such as agriculture and small and medium enterprises is something that the two sides may attempt for, particularly in Africa, where India and Israel both have autonomous and independent development assistance program. All these things can be utilized to marshal their collective goodwill in a new channels.
Nina, what is Netanyahu expecting out of Prime Minister's address today at the Knesset? Because it's a very high stakes address of the Prime Minister, especially at a very, very challenging time. And how will the Arab world view this?
So first of all, India is conducting a multi-aligned approach. And all the partners of India knows it very well, including Israel. India can have good relations with the United States and Russia, with Iran and Saudi Arabia, with Israel and the Palestinian Authority. So we know that these relations are not only strategic and close, but also are characterized by being mature. Prime Minister Netanyahu, I believe, expect that during Prime Minister Modi's speech in the Knesset, it will not only solidify the current relations and enhance them and show how close both nations are, but also we set the agenda to make some policies and steps to stabilize and bring prosperity and peace to West Asia. And both India and Israel are not only conducting or promoting it, but also would like to do it with different pragmatic Arab countries and other countries in the world in order to bring for this stability and peace in the region. There is, of course, one very ambitious project, which is the India, Middle East, European corridor that will also be discussed during the current visit, and to see how, despite different developments and the volatility that is characterizing West Asia, or different developments that are occurring today, naming in the Gaza Strip or with a possible attack in Iran, still both countries will seek partners that are for peace, for stability, and for connectivity.
That's right. And in just a few moments from now, the Prime Minister will be arriving. In fact, the Prime Minister has arrived. These are first pictures of PM Modi there arriving, and he will be received by Benjamin Netanyahu, who is already there. And this is a ceremonial welcome that the Prime Minister is receiving. And these are some powerful visuals coming in right now. There, the Prime Minister walking down, and he's also seen waving from the aircraft's door just a few moments prior to this. And now the all-important handshake will take place between Prime Minister Modi. In fact, that's a clear display of the Bondhomie that Prime Minister Narendra Modi shares with Benjamin Netanyahu. It's a handshake, come a hug that the both leaders embrace right now, embracing each other, embracing the ties, embracing the friendship, embracing the Bondhomie. Everything's unfolding right before us. It's a historic moment. Manish Chand, how do you look at this particular moment that's unfolding right before us? The Prime Minister there having a brief chat after embracing Netanyahu.
Bondhomie, the sense of instant connect which you see on the screen right now, the personal chemistry the two leaders have forged is so abundantly on display there. And there's a lot of genuine warmth one can see. And this has been forged over the years, you know. So there is a deep sense of appreciation. Benjamin Netanyahu, for example, has praised Prime Minister Modi many times for his leadership, for his vision and all that of a developed India. So there is this growing, there is a larger strategic alignment that complemented with this deep personal bonding, which is set to elevate. You know, this particular visit is about elevating the label of partnership. And I believe from here, Prime Minister Modi will go in a car with his motorcade, you know. Both leaders will be sharing some private moments, confidential conversation, which we probably will never come to know. And of course, this has become now a ritual. The leaders traveling in the car together before they sit down for talks. But what it underlines is this deep personal connect, this personal friendship, mutual regard, which is going to propel India-Israel partnership to new heights. And, you know, you asked also about, you know, beyond defense, what India and Israel can do. So they are doing a lot already, but what we're going to be seeing is a lot of action in the area of technology and innovation, startups. Israel is famously the startup nation, and we're going to find collaborative solutions, and even in
משמר יחטיף את נשקו. החטף, צ'ק! אדוני ראש הממשלה, משמר כבוד של חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל ערוך ונכון לסקירתך. אדוני. המשמר ידגל את נשקו. דגל? צ'ק! המשמר יחטיף את נשקו. החטף, צ'ק! המשמר יציג את נשקו. הצל, צ'ק! המשמר יעבור לנוח, מות נוח.
What will unfold from this visit?
Ambassador Sachdev, you know, the West, the Gulf, Palestine, Iran, everybody is watching this particular visit of the Prime Minister. How do you think India is recalibrating its West Asia policy?
A good question. I think the visit would be regarded as significant in its context. Since October 7, 2023, when Israel was attacked by Hamas, most of the VVIP visitors to Israel have been related to peacemaking, have been related to stopping the crisis from deteriorating, etc., etc. And there have been hardly any bilateral visits, partly because the atmospherics were not taken to be right for that purpose, and the country they wanted to visit was preoccupied, as well as they were obviously hot potatoes to be picked up due to Israel's hostilities on multiple fronts. Now that the dust seems to have settled on some of them, although Iran-related issues do remain on the front burner, I think this visit is quite conspicuous. India having become the first major country to send its head of government to Israel for this purpose of a bilateral relationship. So one would be very keen to see what happens on the bilateral domain, whether the two countries are able to chalk a new pathway towards the resurgence in their economies. Israel is expected to chalk up a 5.2% growth in its GDP during this year. As we know, India's own growth is expected to be 7.2% this year. So all told, we have two countries with great deal of synergy potential between them. And I think that is going to be one aspect which needs to be harnessed. Secondly, I think, as we have already discussed earlier, AI and IT and new technologies, innovative domains such as pharmaceutical research and so on, are areas where India and Israel have complementary strengths, and they can work together on this. When it comes to geopolitics, I think India's Prime Minister's visit to Israel would be watched very carefully as to whether Prime Minister adopts a new nuance to traditional Indian policy of the kind that we have espoused for a long time over a domestic political.
I think we've lost your audio line. If you could correct that. Let me, in the meantime, go across to Nina Slama. Nina, does Israel see India as a counterbalance, especially in light of China's growing influence in West Asia?
So first of all, yes, both countries collaborate very closely, not only on the bilateral level, but also on the multilateral level. For instance, following the signing of the Abraham Accords in 2020, there was a minilateral alliance that was formed between India, Israel, the US, and the UAE, what we know as I2U2. These countries are trying to seek for solutions and for ways to collaborate closely together in order to bring peace and stability in West Asia against revisionist countries that would like not only to disturb the current world order, but also pose an imminent threat on these countries' national security. So together, India and Israel are forming different coalitions, whether it is in West Asia, in Europe, against revisionist countries such as Turkey, China, Iran, and other countries that would like to disturb not only the relations between both countries, but the stability of the world.
Nina, at a time when, the global the global narrative and the global outlook over West Asia is, deeply polarized. How important is India to Israel at this point?
So first of all, seeing a leader such as Prime Minister Modi that is leading not only a rising power, but an actual power in the world, coming to Israel in these challenging times and showing its commitment to the Jewish state is not only a moment of pride, but also it signals to other countries that Israel is not alone. Israel is not isolated in the global arena, as we may have seen recently in different regional and international forums. Standing by Israel is sending a strong message, not only to Israel's enemy, but also partners, that it shows that Israel is a reliable country that together can, with the Jewish state, can promote many developments that will not only be beneficial to the Jewish state, but also to other countries in the world. Seeing these pictures that we are seeing right now, both leaders walking side by side and showing their close relationship is very exciting, and it's sending a strong message to some disturbing state and non-state actors that would like to undermine Israel's, Indians, and other countries' national security.
Sachdev, what are you expecting of the Prime Minister's address at the Israeli Parliament? What do you think could be the key takeaways?
I think the address is going to be watched for a number of along a number of axes. Firstly, the bilateral economic domains, as we have already discussed. Secondly, the bilateral political domain, where Prime Minister would reiterate India's commitment to fighting terrorism and would like to recommend two-state solution all over again publicly. And I think it will be a very powerful message given from the Knesset in Israel, saying that India stands for a two-state solution. Then again, India's position on Board of Peace would perhaps find some articulation. It will be noted for its presence or semi-presence or absence from the speech. Either way, it'll find some notice. Then again, we would have issues about India Middle East economic corridor that we have been talking about since the G20 meeting in New Delhi 2 years ago. Uh, we also have issues of bilateral cultural and people-to-people synergy. As you know, during the 2 years of hostilities and internal turbulence in Israel, India agreed to allow Israel to recruit Indian personnel for the jobs that were earlier taken up by Palestinians and other neighboring country citizens, so that Israel's own reservists could work in the capacities they were needed in Gaza and elsewhere. So that has cemented the bilateral people-to-people ties, and this would find some resonance. But overall, now that the normalcy is returning to Israel's internal social economy and to some extent politics, it will be prudent on our part to check that direction of the normalcy out and take a direction ourselves as to what can be done before the outcome of 2026 general elections to Knesset is clearly panned out. There are other issues pertaining to third countries, such as Iran, such as the European Union, such as United States, that would perhaps find discussion. But India's own policy towards its regional neighbors may find some mention in Prime Minister's speech to illustrate how India has tried to create a more peaceful South Asia. Thank you.